I'm going to give you two more news stories, but for the penultimate one, I need to find a prop. So just bear with me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, right. So Bret Hart, a few days ago, it was revealed on Reddit or wherever it was that he had signed a photo this way. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Shittiest wrestler who ever stepped in a ring. Bret Hitman Hart. Bret remains disdainful of Bill Goldberg after all this time, it seems, after the Starcade head kick. Were you were in the building at the time, were you? Or you left?
I I think I was there. I know I was there in that same time frame as Bill and Bret being there. I know I was with Bret afterwards in Australia because he was explaining to me the injury, the concussion. But I can't recall what time what was the date on that?
Oh, well, I mean, that photo was only just taken a few days ago.
No, I mean the incident where
it was Starcade 1999, so December 1999.
oh yeah, I was still there then. I didn't leave until 2000, I think, or a little bit after.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have been there.
Do you ever talk to Bret about his issues with concussions, maybe before or after the Bill Goldberg kick?
Yes. We had talked again in Australia about the bike accident, and the recurring effects of the multiple concussions, and what he was laying out to me, and it's because it's his private health, I don't want to get too much into it, but it was a bit hellish. What he was explaining to me when I off the subject, but to the same topic. When I watched the movie about called Concussion, about Dr. Benjamin Amalu, who'd originally diagnosed CTE, and did so on Mike Webster, who was a captain of this iconic Steeler team in the 70s and 80s. What that man was experiencing in the end of his life must have been no less than being in hell. Couldn't sleep. They found a police taser in his truck, and he had burns up inside his groin. He was tasing himself with a police taser to sleep. They were giving him powerful sleeping meds that weren't working. He was experiencing hell. And, a lot of what Bret, I won't say that Bret's were near that bad as the symptoms he was explaining to me. But, for guys that have done like what we've done in our business, gone and traveled the world and a constant 24-hour day, 365 a year, go. And again, performing at the level of a Bret Hart, to suddenly be having the types of symptoms that Bret had described to me, I would see, although maybe not as severe as what Mike Webster was experiencing, but it sounds to me like it was on the path towards that. And you could see how these are two divergent styles, right? Bill's was coming into the business afterwards. The very different approach than Bret being brought up in the business and being really diligent, the excellence of execution, right, which is no misnomer. And to go into the ring and have something like that happen seems, I don't want to say cruel because it implies that Bill intended. I'm sure Bill didn't, but these are the things that can happen when you're in the ring, and it could happen. He could be in the ring with a Ricky Steamboat and that have happened. Less likely, I would say, but still could have happened. So, but each of us carries our own likes and dislikes in the business, and it. I'd be remiss if I would say to Bret that he didn't have the right to have his. But I would, say, and this is not even a defense of Bill. It's just, again, I could go into the ring with the safest wrestler on the planet and get hurt. You'll know if it's intentional or not. I think, pretty clearly if somebody intended to do it or not. Sometimes it could be in the gray area, but for the most part, you'll know if it was meant to be a tater or not. And I just would have a really tough time thinking that Bill intended to do that, just knowing him like the person I know. But I can also see Bret's distaste and anger with it. It's especially when you come from the place that he did into the business and how he conducted his career. just one of those things that, like I don't think we're ever going to reach a point where Ric Flair and I become buddies. And I don't think we're ever going to see a time when Bret and Bill Goldberg become buddies. But isn't that part of what makes the world go round? It's otherwise it'd be a pretty boring place. Yeah, I mean, I think enough said about that. It's I get along great with both guys, and I respect both guys as different things they brought to the business. And I would be really shocked if this was like an intentional tater by Bill. I think there might be times not being as well trained or having been in the business as long that you intending and not intending would be two different things. But more likely to happen with somebody who's less well trained than say with somebody that is as well trained as Bret had been. So I think it's just really one of those things you're never going to get a satisfactory answer to. There's always going to be some level of anger, I'm sure.